It is my pleasure to be once more here with all of you, sharing everything that I have received from PVH. I was thinking about this session and I was laying out some points, and I realized that every moment that I have spent with Siva Sir, every place that I have gone, every person that I have met have changed the way I am, have made me softer. What I have realized through all the 10 years that I have been with PVH, that I have been sharing this path with all the people that share the love for humanity, for Mother Earth, for being an instrument of God. What I have realized is that I have become a different person altogether. And I was looking back and seeing all the places that I have been with Sir and all the people that I have met through PVH, the wonderful people that are selflessly working towards being an instrument of God and being an instrument of God. All different people, all kinds of people. And I was really very impressed of how, when we allow our lives get touched and even reshaped by what we choose and by what comes to us through that chosen path or that chosen word or that chosen moment being there. I was really impressed to see all the people we have touched, all the people that I have met, all the people that have showed me love and showed me open their hearts, even if it's needing help or giving help. It's so and while I was looking at all this, I was realizing that the most important thing, I think the most important thing through all these years of 10 years of walking the path of PVH is the disposition. I was seeing that there are 4 stages for me, 4 clear stages. The stage of discovery, when I met PVH, and I talked about this already, so I will not bore you, but when I started my path, I had no idea at all what this was all about. I had no idea about Mr. Siva, about PVH. I knew absolutely nothing. So my first contact was a real surprise. And the and 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 what first happened is the world around me showed me that I was different after PVH, after having uh, gone to the first class. I noticed it because I used to live in the countryside on those years. And so after the workshop, I did what I did every morning. I took my cup of tea and I went to the outside, to the other part of the house where the sun came out. So I used to go there and watch the sunrise every morning. That was my breakfast. And I sat there, I waited for the sun, and I drank, always thanking Mother Nature. And I realized I had a lot of birds around me. And I realized that there was a cat that I didn't know who it was and came to me. And I said, what's going on with nature? Nature is like surrounding me more. This was the first thing that I realized something is different. Even though my friend realized it before, she said, Rosario, you're different. Of course, I had no dark energy. This is what was different in me. I had gone to the class. I had no dark energy. I had, well, there were no souls in that moment, but I was different, in my aura was different, and I had no idea, because I hadn't been in a path of spirituality, that I knew the aura, and no, I knew nothing of that. I hadn't gone through that path. I just had notions of spirituality, but I was not really into spirituality. So what gave me the clue that something was different in me was the outside, the nature, the birds, the animals that were coming near me like never before, and also the people around me, my mother, my friend at the time that came to the class on Sunday, because on Saturday she didn't come, but on Sunday she said, I see you're different, I want to go to this place. People around me saw a change more than I felt a change, because I was always very not paying attention to certain things. I was always very busy and very in my head, thinking a lot and trying to figure things out, and I was not really comprehending what was around me. This is also something PVH gave me. So when I started out, I can say that the first year was a year of discovering. For me, I didn't realize what PVH was from the start. No. I had to walk my path and start seeing what this was doing on others, and how Siva Sir was with people, and how he was with me. As I told you already, what he said at first, we're working for God, and how he was. This was for me a discovery. And then after working with Sir and starting seeing how people responded, and how their lives changed, and how deep this went, I started going deeper. I started really, something clicked inside me, and I said, okay, this is where I should go. First thing that for me was a complete change was the fact that I always knew I could translate simultaneously, and I could do it good. And I always knew that I had a certain gift for this, but I didn't have a message. So when PVH came into my life, and after the period of discovery, because I really knew nothing about it, and I was not aware of many things, after I started having glimpses of how important this was, and what this person, what this man was doing, how he was dedicating himself to Mother Nature, to Mother Earth, to the people, something clicked inside me, and I said, and this was very important for me, I said, okay, this here is why I have this gift of translating, is to translate the message of this man, the message of PVH, to everybody that speaks Spanish wherever. And so this was very beautiful for me. This was another gift I received, because I always knew I had this gift, but I didn't have a message. I didn't have what to say. And when I tried working, this is something very interesting that happened to me, something quite sad in the moment, and I didn't understand it for many years, and Mr. Siva explained it to me some years ago. When I was young, very young, I realized I had this gift. So I had, through a friend of my grandmother's, I realized there was, I looked, and I knew, and I came to know that there was, in those moments, in 1987, 88, there were 2 courses of interpretation, of simultaneous translation, one in the United States, one in Switzerland. So I asked my father if he would pay to go and study this. He said, No, I will not pay for you to travel to United States and go into a very expensive university. No, I won't. And I was, oh, how can I make it? And my mother said, okay, I'll pay the trip, and you go after what you want. So I went. I through friends of my grandmother's, I went. I stayed in their house. I applied. They said, okay, sir, this date you will have the exam. And through my grandmother's friends, I knew the people that were going to examine me. And they said, oh, oof, you are perfect for this. Don't worry. I was very happy. I kept going to the library in those days and studying and seeing books. And I was so happy. So the moment of the examination came. I went to the examination. It was 20 minutes talking to 3 people. I went there very confident. I came there. I started 20 minutes more or less. Nothing coherent came out of my mouth. I was like, a mess, horrible. They said, thank you very much. We'll talk to you. So when I turned around, I put my hand in the door and I said, if I leave this place, I'm out. I won't make it. I have to go back and tell them, please do this again, because I was very nervous. I was not even nervous. Nothing came out of my mouth. And I was there in the door. It was a second. And I said, no, I'm leaving. I left. So, of course, they said, you didn't pass, because I didn't speak almost. It was horrible. And the friends of my friend said, what happened to you? I don't know what to do. Well, I left. My father even called me and said, how did it go? I said, I failed. He was very surprised. And he said, okay, if you want to stay there and study some of the thing, I will pay. You choose. So I went back home. I started thinking and I said, no, I don't want to stay here. I want to leave. And I left. And I never went to university to study interpretation or anything, nothing. Fast forward to 7 years ago with Mr. Siva, we were in Brazil. Between classes, we were walking somewhere, we had time, and I asked him, sir, what happened that day? Something very strange happened to me. I couldn't talk. It was like, what happened that day? So he said, your soul didn't want you to do that. So it was your soul that, and he said, if you had passed that examination, it was in a university in Washington, D.C., United States, you would have started working for United Nations or whatever international organism, and your life path would have been completely different. This is not what your soul came to do this lifetime. I was like this, because for me, all this was very new. Past lives and all this and world life mission. I was so when Sir said this, I was, wow. And I understood also why it was very peculiar, because when I failed the passing the examination to go in, of course, it was very hard because I had put everything into it. My mind wanted. So in my mind, this was perfect, and I was doing, and I had friends, and I could go in, and I was going to go in. I had all set up in my mind. And that is when I understood, and I said, I remember it was a click inside of me, and I said, I didn't actually phrase it like this, but I realized this is what I did. I said, what I learned from this is that I don't have to go after what my mind, the ideas of my mind. I have to open to what life brings. I did this click, and I see that it was a bit difficult at first, because for people, that is not how it works. You have an idea and you go after it. And I was like that before too. But I realized for me, that wasn't my way. I had to open to what life brought to me. and go flow with that. And this was very huge because I wanted so much and the door was shut in my face and I had to decide, and I decided to go back and start all over again because I had all planned for this and then nothing. And I said, no, I'm going back. But I realized that it was a very deep change that had gone on me. And when Sir explained that it was my soul that had prevented me from passing that examination and going there, I was really I was surprised, but I was in awe because I said, my goodness, we know everything. We just have to allow it. It's like, mind, dear mind, thank you for all you do for me. You're very helpful, but please move aside and let my soul go, take control. And I was very grateful for my young self to have listened to this. And not to have said, no, let me try again. I want, or as I thought in that moment, I'm going back and I'm going to ask them to do it again. I said, no, this is it. And I went. And of course, I was young and I did many things. I worked in many things. I was an English teacher. Then I worked with a friend. I worked with costume designing for many years. And then I had my family and I started a family and I went into that. And then I worked in then I worked in editorial work, doing books and with photography with my ex-husband. I did many different things, but I see that this decision that I made there, that moment when I was young, to not go after what my mind wants like this, but to open up to what comes to me, changed everything, changed completely. That was the beginning of like a different way of looking at things. Like that, I have asked Sir many times for when he has a moment in between work, so going somewhere. I have asked Sir many things, and I have realized that oftentimes in my life, this has happened again. I have, without explanation, I have been true to what I called myself, but I see now, being in PVH, we learn that it really is my soul, what we call intuition, or what I had called listening to myself. It was listening to my soul. Realizing or not, I was hearing my internal voice and I was following it. And this is something I tell every young person: find your voice and follow it. Whatever it tells you, find it and follow it. Because, of course, our soul knows what it is here for and how and what it wants to do or where it wants to go. But in my case, and I find it in everybody, we are so full of ideas that people put, society put, family put, myself I put, that so much noise, so much, I want this, I want that, I want this. If I go here, if I do this, that I cannot listen to what is going on really, what my real purpose is, because I am not listening to this, to my soul or to my intuition, as I used to call it. So I learned early on that I had to be open. And this is what took me to PVH, because as you remember, I said in the past, sharing with you, that I met PVH because a friend, he was not even such a close friend, wrote me, I received a WhatsApp saying, there is something very important going on next weekend. You cannot miss it. And I didn't ask what it was. And I went and I met Sir. And then from then on, my life changed completely. So I had no idea what I was going. I didn't ask what it was. And I went. And it absolutely changed my life. So after this discovery time, when I was really discovering Sir and PVH, everything was so absolutely different. I had no idea the language. I was very into a concrete life. I was, spirituality was something very intimate and very, I see now that very near also to PVH, because for me, spirituality was doing good. I remember as a young girl, somebody asked me, what is it that you like best? And I thought, and I said, I said to myself, well, I must be a bit stupid or something different, because what I really enjoy, the thing I enjoy more is giving, is when I'm doing something for somebody else or for something else. Something must be wrong with me. I didn't understand at all that this is the most important thing in life for me now, after having walked all these years, this path. I realized that back then, when I was a girl and I thought about it, it was all put in a very easy language, very, well, I like giving what I feel when I share something, when I do something for somebody else, when I can help, it's what gives me more pleasure, what I like best. This is, I felt it was like I was being too, but then being too simple, or being too, I don't know how to put it. It was like this habit of bringing myself down that I find many people have, but I had it a lot and still a bit. I was like, oh, something must be wrong with me. No, nothing is wrong with me. It's exactly what we are here for. I learned through PVH. We are here to balance our karma and then to do good, keep doing good. And this brings me to another moment I shared with Sir when he was we had a moment, and I asked him, Sir, I have a judgment with myself. I was married once, I had my child, my family, we were together for many years, and then one day we we separated. I was many years without a partner, and then I met somebody, and we didn't get married, but we got married. I said we lived together for 5 years, and then one day I didn't want to be in the marriage anymore. But there was nothing wrong. I wasn't in love with somebody else. He was the same person. Everything was normal, but something in me, I liked him, I loved him even, but I wanted to be alone. It was painful for the other person. We separated and life went on. Many years alone. And then I met another person. This was even interesting because that person, when I met him, oh, it was completely a rejection inside of me. I couldn't even look at him. I looked at that person. It was a big meeting, a lot of people, and there was this person. And if I fixed my eyes on him, I wanted to throw up, imagine. Long story short, we were together for 4 years. One day, I felt inside of me, I want to separate. So then I separated, and I was without a partner for many years. And then I met PVH, I started traveling, and I come to Sir and I say, Sir, I have this judgment with myself that in English, you say love them and leave them, because I had split with my husband, the father of my daughter. No, we're friends until today. Mr. Siva was in his house in New York with his wife and everything. We're friends. We have a very beautiful relationship. I love him dearly. He's like a brother. But with these other two men that I had, my partners for 4 years and 5 years and 4 years, I felt bad, because I felt bad with myself. They were sad. They were not happy when I wanted to separate. And Sir measured and he said to me, you had karma with both of them. Once you balanced your karma, there was no need to be together. I was really shocked. I was really shocked because, of course, I never thought of karma or anything in those days, even less through PVH more, but it was not something I was aware. And when Sir said that, I said, of course, this is what happened. Because it was such a, my soul just said, okay, it's no need to be here. And I had a lot of 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 love for them, but something told me no. And I followed that. Because remember, in for us in here, it's even tragic. People, there are more divorces than weddings, if this is possible. Yes, it's possible because people don't even get married nowadays. They just go and live together. And so it's very normal here to have a partner, then have another partner, as Siva sir kept saying, and how bad that is, because then you have all the difficulties with ex-husbands and ex-wives and children with one children. I didn't have children with them at all. I just balanced my karma. So when Sir said that you had karma with them, once you balance your karma, you had nothing to do there. Wow. For me, it was a big discovery how once again my soul had taken me and I had followed my soul, even though I had these judgments with myself. Why? They're so good. I like them. I love them. No, I have to split. It was so clear inside of me, the voice inside of me. And there was no reason, no apparent reason that made it even more difficult for them because they couldn't understand. But I was very clear. Up to here I came. I need to. And then I realized that everything has a purpose. The purpose of being alone also for me was important because after I discovered PVH, I wanted to go deeper. And so I started, and everything. I remember the first time Sir wrote to me on Viber. I even made a screenshot and kept it. He said, after I translated him in Uruguay the first time, then we went to Brazil, Uruguay the first time in March 2015. Then we went to Brazil. He wanted to go to Brazil, and we went to Rio de Janeiro in August. Then next year, in the month of May, I woke up and I said, I want to go deep in this. And I saw that there was a class in Buenos Aires. I went. And I went in, and Sir gave me the microphone, the loudspeaker, and I started translating, and I never stopped. And if I had a husband at home, it would be very difficult to be doing the work I do. Just Sir says this date, that date, and I just go. I go wherever we have to go. If I have, it's many times, it's the birthday of my daughter, the birthday of my mother, the something, I don't care. I'm away. It's okay. What I'm here to do is be an instrument of God through PVH. I'm very clear. If I were still married, it would be very difficult or impossible, because for obvious reasons. So I realized that everything has, we might not see the why or the real reason for some things to happen, but then time goes by a bit and then we understand. This was my case, absolutely. After, when I started going deeper into PVH, of course, I had to have my own time, and I have to be able to be open to go wherever, whenever, at what time. And this would be impossible if I were married. And so everything in my mind made sense when Sir explained you had karma with them. Once you had no more karma, there was no need to be married. Those were Sir's words. And I was... So many things happen, like preparations for what is to come. When I look back, this is what I see, that there are many signs and many like turning points that are all leading to what we are here for.